so I'm gonna get us all warmed up for my car
Oh,
ride. Here's our
there she goes. Right.
hello everybody. Happy Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern time. This is Mindful Movement. I'm Chris, your instructor. And today, typically what I do is I introduce you to moves that strengthen your body so you don't feel like you have to stretch constantly, okay? And these are moves that are very powerful to get your skeletal structure in place, get all your joints moving and flowing, and keep your range of motion open. So what we're going to do today is we're going to flow through a lot of those ranges. So we'll go a little quicker than usual through these movements, and just be mindful, listen to my cues, and enjoy yourself. You're going to feel like you've had a massage when you are done, and maybe while we're going through it. So let's start in a seated position. What you'll need today is a little hand towel. That's not absolutely necessary, and a yoga block if you have them. We can make do without if you do not have those things. So let's get on our mat. Let's just sit cross-legged. Sit up real tall. Just get up on those sits bones, wipe everything away behind you there. Now, once you're there, what I want you to do is recross your legs, because this is how you always go. We're going to switch it up and let the body know that it can do it this way too. So go ahead and switch the cross of your legs. And let's just do some circles. Now, I want you to do these circles from the hips here. I don't want you to think of the back doing the circles. I want it coming right from that crease in your hips. So gently just grab onto your knees, and let's just let your body flow around on top of those legs. So we're really working right at the top of those legs. So just flow around. Now you can like stretch your back a little. You can let your torso just flow around, let your neck just follow along with whatever feels good. But keep in mind, the movement is coming from the very tip top of your legs. Let's reverse that circle. So go ahead and reverse it. Nice. All right. Now, let's do something with these legs again. Let's keep this left leg in front and take the right leg behind you and just bend it behind you. Now, if you're on a mat, what it's nice to do is to keep your knees lined up right here at the edge of the mat. So your knees are in line. We're going to open up where we just bent, okay? So these are your hip flexors right here. We just used them to contract, to go forward. We're going to let them stretch out now, but we're going to do that by using the back side of our body. We're going to use our bones. So what I want you to do is take your left hand, place it behind you, nice and straight and strong. I want you to have a nice space between your ear and your shoulder. We're not going to slump down into this. So nice and strong in the arm. I want you to push yourself up to your knees. Go ahead and push up. We've got that nice space here at our shoulder and our ear. And from here, I want you to squeeze the backside here, and that's going to open up this crease we were just working. All right, so squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Let's get the upper body involved a little bit. I want you to reach your arm up to the ceiling. Reach it to the sky. Reach it wide so you have a nice wingspan between both arms. You're opening up those shoulders. You're reaching it, reaching it, reaching it. You're still squeezing back here. Now let's circle that arm in a rainbow, just back and forth, a half circle. Reach over and back, over and back, over and back. Let's take it in a circle. Gotta get those shoulders warmed up too. Remember, you're not taking your ear down to that other shoulder. Let's reverse that circle. Reverse it. You're still squeezing the backside to open up that hip. Yes, take it down. Now let's stay in this position. What we're going to do now is we're going to rotate our torso. So think of your rib cage here twisting, not your neck and shoulders. They'll follow along. So go ahead and sit up tall and rotate this rib cage as far as you can to the left. So you're thinking of bringing the right side of your rib cage towards your left thigh. Go where your body allows. So just stop there. Now place your hands on the floor over on the left side of your leg. And I want you to walk your hands forward where you can go. And once you're there, let's take our elbows down to the mat if your body allows that. Now you might have one elbow straight, or you might get both of them down to the mat. So we're getting a nice rotation in our spine, but we're going to open up the rotation in our right hip. What I want you to do is take your right foot and just gently lift it off the floor and put it down. Lift and lower. We're working this joint right up here. Lift and lower. So if you feel this sticking in your knee, don't go as high. Put your mind right here. We want your hip to be moving, not your knee. Lift and lower. So that was internal rotation. What we're going to do now is we're going to do external rotation. So now you take that right knee and you lift it off the ground, but you keep your foot down. Keep that foot down. Lift and lower. So if you get stuck in your hips, if you get pain in your hips, this is increasing the range of motion in your hips right now. So lift and lower, and be mindful. You might be able to move in certain directions on one hip and then not be able to do that on the other hip. And that's kind of normal, but I want you to keep moving into these moves. All right, let's come on up and let's just stay in this position. And we're going to work the triceps just a tiny bit. What I want you to do is bend your elbows, take yourself down to the floor, and then push back up. And bend the elbows to the floor and push back up. We're working the arms again. Got to be mindful of those arms. They've got to carry all those packages for Christmas. And down and up. Nice job. Let's go to the other side. So all we're going to do is we're going to switch our legs around. So now our right leg's in front, our left leg's behind us, our knees are lined up in a line here. What you're going to do is I want you to just kind of think of this torso right here, rotating to the right. So you're taking the left side of your torso, your rib cage, and bringing it towards your right leg. From here, I want you to put your hands on the floor, walk your hands out where you can go. And if your body allows, just take your elbows down to the floor. If it doesn't, we're up here, or we might be halfway here. So go ahead and go where your body allows. From here, we're going to open up that internal rotation of that left hip. So I want you to lift the left foot off the floor and then place it down. Lift it up and place it down. Keep in mind, this is not a huge move. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower and lift and lower. That was internal rotation. Let's take it into external rotation by lifting our knee. Lift and lower. The foot stays on the floor. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. One more time. Lift and lower. So now just stay over here towards the right and just push your elbows up off the floor. And then go ahead and bring them down slowly and mindfully and lift up and down and up and down and up and down and up. And one more time, down, push it up, come back to the center. Let's stick with the hips a little bit more. So I'll move this block out of the way. So you've all done windshield wipers, where we just plop our legs back and forth. We're going to be mindful with this, okay? We're going to do it slow and controlled. So your feet are a little wider than hip width apart. They're planted on the floor in front of you. Your back is nice and tall and straight. The top of your head's going to the ceiling. We don't ever want to lose our good posture. We want to keep our spine nice and in line. So what I want you to do now is I want you to take that left leg and drop it to the floor. Drop it to the floor. The right leg stays where it is. So you're going to create a stretch inside here. Now, if you can move your right leg a little bit farther away from the left, do it. So we've got like a kind of like our splits, okay? Now from here, I want you to take that right leg and take it towards the left. Nice, slow, and controlled. The left knee's going towards the floor, and you're just moving the right leg. Nice and slow. Take it as close to the floor as you can. Now you're going to bring it all the way back up. The right leg's coming up, and it's going to go to the right. The left leg stays on the floor until you can't move it anymore, move them apart anymore. Now, once you're there, I want you to move them together, and you're keeping your legs apart, but the left leg's coming up off the floor, but you're still keeping them apart. And then you're going to push the left leg towards the floor. Push it. Don't drop it. Push it. Push it to the floor. Nice. Let's do that again. So we're going to open up the left leg. We're keeping the right leg on the floor. Open up the left leg as far as you can. And then once you're in that split stage, the right leg comes up off the floor. You keep your legs open. You take your left leg to the floor. The right leg stays open. Once the left leg's to the floor, then you carefully, slowly, mindfully push, push, push that right leg to the floor. Let's do that one more time. Take the right leg, open it up, open it up, open it up. Nice and controlled. We're moving it from the hip. Keep it open, open, open as far as you can. Now you might have your legs open more. And then you're going to let that other leg lift up off the floor, but it's staying as far away from the right leg as it can. Now the left leg's going to push to the floor. Push it, push it, push it, push it to the floor. All right, bring it up. Just take your legs out in front of you. Give them a little shake. We're going to tilt our pelvis now so we can get a nice forward fold. So typically when we think of forward fold, you're just thinking like, I just want to reach my feet, okay? I want you to be mindful of where this pelvic girdle is. I want it to shift forward. I want your sits bones to scoot out behind you. So it's this bony complex. It's actually making this possible. So think of it coming from right down here in your hips, not from your spine. We're not rounding over. We're going to keep the spine straight, and we're going to shift our hip, our pelvic area forward. So I'm going to talk you through this. Let's come up here and just sit here and grab your feet where you can. All right. I'm going to turn so you can see me a little better. I don't know how this visual is. All right. So from here, I want you to think of scooping your tailbone out behind you. Your sits bones are going to slide out from behind you, and your pubic bone is going to tuck back that way. And it feels like your pelvis is like a little bowl, and we're tilting it forward and we're dumping out some water, okay? But we're holding onto our feet here. So what I want you to do is spread your legs apart, hold onto your feet, shoot your tailbone behind you, sit your spine up nice and tall. Your head's up tall. I don't want you looking down at this. And then from here, I want you to walk your heels forward. Walk them forward. So you're going to keep that tailbone shooting behind you and walk forward, walk forward. So we're setting up that pelvic girdle where it needs to be for that forward fold. So just stay here for a minute. And then let's walk it back. Walk our heels back, walk our heels back, and then come up out of it. And let's do it again. So grab your heels or your toes, and I want you to shoot that tailbone behind you. So you're getting an arch right here in your low back, all right? And I want you to shoot that tailbone out behind you, tilt that pelvis forward so you're dumping it out like a bowl. And then you're going to walk your heels out as far as you can. You're going to feel a nice stretch in your legs. You're going to walk your heels out, but you should feel less stretch in your hamstring than you normally would because we've got that pelvic girdle sitting forward. Hold this here, shoot those tailbones out behind you, folding from the hip crease. tilting our pelvis forward and come out of it. Now, with all that in mind, go back with your legs straight out in front of you. Now shoot your tailbone out in front of you and then reach for your legs or your feet, wherever you can end up, and see if that feels a little more comfortable. We're still sitting up tall with our spine. We're not rounding forward. And what we're doing is we're folding again at that hip crease. So we're strengthening the hip flexors. We're allowing the pelvis to go backwards into what we call an anterior tilt to come out of that. We got that all warmed up. We're going to take that in a different direction now. So now we're going to extend the length of these hip flexors. We work one side of it, then we work the other. So you're going to take your block and we're going to go down to the floor. So I want you to take this block and I want you to put it between your knees. And we're going to use our abdominals to take it down. So last move, what we did was we shot the hip bones behind us, the tailbone out that way. This time we're going to shoot it the other way. So we're going to tuck the tailbone underneath us. We're going to pull our navel into our spine. Our sits bones are going to go towards our feet this time instead of away from our feet. And I want you to pull your navel in nice and tight, pull it in tight, and roll yourself slowly, one vertebrae at a time, down to the floor. See if you can just slow and control all the way to the floor, just allowing the spine to slowly, slowly, slowly sink into the floor. All right. So we've got this block between our knees. We're going to take our feet. We're going to bend them a little more so your feet are flat on the floor. We're going to do some glute work. And what I want you to do is I want you to position your block so it's comfortable. There we go. And we're going to be squeezing the block as we squeeze our glutes, our rear end. And I want you to be very mindful of this squeeze. It's not just a push with momentum up to the ceiling. It's a squeeze that's going to get us there. So your arms are down by your side. You're going to squeeze your hips together, your glutes, your bum, whatever you want to call it. You're going to squeeze it together. You're going to squeeze your knees together. And I want you to think of these pointy hip bones as going straight up to the ceiling, nice and level. So squeeze and lift those hip bones up to the ceiling. Lift them up. Put your focus there. They're going straight up. And keep squeezing. Keep squeezing. Now lower it down. So try to keep these hip bones level. This is the trick. Try to keep the hip bones level as you lower down. You're still squeezing. You're still squeezing. You're not just plopping down to the floor. And release. Let's do that again. So squeeze your glutes together. Squeeze your knees together. You're getting your adductors on the inside of your legs working. And I want you to lift the hip bones up to there. Lift them up. So think of lifting these hip bones up, opening this. The harder you squeeze back here, the more open you're going to be here. All right? You have to contract muscles to let other muscles lengthen. And that's the whole premise behind this. Lower down, lower down. Keep your squeeze, keep your squeeze. And release it. Nice. Let's do that one more time. So go ahead and squeeze your glutes together. Pull your navel into your spine a bit. Lift your hip bones. Those hip pointers are going up to the ceiling. They're going up. It's like you got little strings attached to them and somebody's lifting you up. It's not that easy. You got to do the work. Keep squeezing. Keep squeezing. Lower it down. This is just as important as pushing it up. Nice work. Nice work. Go ahead and take the block out from behind or from your knees. We're going to work in a little opposition. We're going to work in what I call our gait, how you walk. So we're mimicking how we walk in this position. If you can put your mind there, that's great. If you can't, just go along with me. So go ahead and straighten that right leg long. Let's straighten the left leg long for a minute too. Let's just flex our feet. So think of the tops of your feet coming to your shin. And then I want you to point your feet and think of the back of your heels coming to the back of your calves. So go ahead and flex your feet, bringing the tops of your foot to your shin. Let the toes go along for the ride. Now, point your feet by taking your heels towards your calves. All right. That feels good. So now we got this long. Let's take our right leg and just bend it and plant our foot on the floor. And we're going to gauge how far you, be mindful of how far you get this left knee up towards your chest. So go ahead and bring your left knee towards your chest and see where you can go, because we're going to check it when we get done with this. So just stop where you can go. We're not pulling it in. We're just bringing it to its stopping point. Once it's at its stopping point, I want you to take your hand and I want you to place it right in front of your knee. It's going to be a wall. What you're going to do now is you're going to push your knee into your hand and your hand into your knee. And we're going to feel the left side of this pelvic girdle that we've been working with, the sits bones, kind of scoop up and under you. And the right side is going to kind of stay put. This is very subtle. You've almost got to imagine it happening. There is a joint right in the middle of your pubic bone. And this is what happens when we walk. One leg's going forward, one leg's going back. So we're just encouraging this movement with strength. So you're pushing, pushing, pushing. Please do not hold your breath as we do these isometric holds. And let's take it down. If you want, you can extend it out long. And let's bring it back. So now we're going to bring it back up to our chest. See if it gets any closer. Bring it up. Line it up a little bit closer. This is opening up the range of the hips again. Now you put your hand here. You're a wall right here with your hand. Now push your knee into your hand and your hand into your knee. And feel that gentle tilt of the sits bone sliding up. It's real subtle. It's real subtle. Just push, push, push. Please keep breathing. Do your breathing. And take it down. Let's extend it long. This one's very important. So let's do it one more time on this side, and then we'll go to the right. So go ahead. Let's see where this knee goes. Is it getting any closer to your chest on its own without you pulling it in? I know mine is. That feels so good. Go ahead and block your hand and your knee. Now you're going to push your knee into your hand. Push your knee into your hand. You've got a little pressure going on into that right foot into the floor. Go ahead and push, push, push. And let that pelvic complex be moved by all those strong muscles we're creating. Good job. Go ahead, extend it out long. Extend the right leg out long. Let's get some length in our whole body. Take your arms over your head and see where they land. See if they feel even when you bring them over your head. And just reach your hands as far away from your feet as you can. Give it a nice reach. Reach, reach, reach. And bring the shoulders back down into a relaxed position. We don't want them hiked up towards our ears while we're doing this next move. So bend both your legs. Feet are on the floor. You are going to take your right knee now and just see where it goes. How close to your chest does it go? Okay, so then you stop it right here. And you're going to push your knee into your hand. Push it. Feel that sits bones kind of slide up under there. It can move. It can move. Remember, we're increasing our ability to be strong as we walk. And who doesn't want to be strong as we walk? We got to be able to walk, right? That's it. And you're pushing and you're breathing, and you're pushing and you're breathing. And let's take it down. Go ahead and extend that leg long. Nice. We're going to do it 2 more times. So bring that knee up towards your chest. Is it getting any closer on its own to your chest? I know mine is. So now you're going to block it where it is. Just stop it where it is. Knee into the hand, hand into the knee. Nice strong force there. Left foot is getting a little bit of pressure into the floor. You're scooping that right side of your pelvis up and under. It's got a little motion when you walk. You got to get all these joints lubed up. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. This is an isometric contraction. Whenever you're doing isometrics, be sure to breathe. All right, take it out. Take it long. And let's do that one more time. And from the beginning, the first time you did it, to now, see if your knee is getting closer to your chest. I know mine is, and it feels so good. So block your knee with your hand with your knee, and push your knee into your hand. Nice and strong here. This is where we give it a nice strong push. Push, push, push. You might even feel a little bit of a shake. Keep pushing. You've got that shake going on this side. It's probably not as used to being up here as your other side. So we're increasing the strength so it knows what to do. And take it down and take it long. Extend the other leg out long. All right, if you have a yoga block, I love to do this with a yoga block. It just feels better for my back, and it gives your back a little leeway, a little space to just kind of be loose and free. We're going to bend both knees. We're going to take that yoga block, and we're going to sit it under our sacrum. Your sacrum is this flat bony area right below your lower back. So the block is not going to be on your lower back. It's going to be down here on this bony area. So go ahead, right at the top of your rear end, place that yoga block there. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring our knees back to our chest because they're so flexible now. And let's extend our legs long above us. And so we've got that tilt going in that pelvic area again. And it's encouraged a little bit by the yoga block. And then your spine is nice and loose and free at this point. But I want you to pull your navel into your spine. So we're going to encourage strength on the front side of the spine. And I want you to point your toes. But when you point your toes, or let's call it pointing our feet, I want you to think of your heels going towards your calf. So this heel's going here. The toes are going along for the ride. Don't point with your toes, point with your ankles. So heels are going towards your calf. And then you're going to open your legs out as wide as you're comfortable. We already encourage this with some strength today. Now, when you flex your feet, I want you to think of the top of your foot coming towards your shin. So you're out wide. I want you to bring the top of your foot towards your shin. And now we're going to squeeze the legs back together. You can even kind of place your hands right on the inside of your thighs. Give it a little gentle pressure and squeeze your legs back together. Now, let's take our hands gently on the outside of our thighs. Go ahead and point your feet. Open your legs out wide, and you can give it a gentle resistance as you open out wide. Go as far as you can without hitting something. I'm going to stop right there. And then put your hands on the inside of your thighs. Flex your feet. Squeeze your legs back together. Squeeze them, squeeze them, squeeze them. And hands on the outside of the thighs. Point your feet. Open out your legs. Open, open, open. And then hands on the inside of the thighs. Flex your feet and squeeze your legs back together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. All right, let's get back to a seated position. Roll over on your side. Come up to a seated position. We're going to finish up with a few arm circles and then we'll be done. And take your arms. Let's do our golfer's grip first. I'm going to show you the golfer's grip. So what you're doing is you're folding the tips of your fingers in. You're not going to make a fist, but you're going to fold the tips of your fingers in and your palms are open wide. Your thumbs are way out to the side. Bring your arms straight out from your shoulders at shoulder height if that is possible. If not, take them where you can. You're reaching your hands away from each other, the biggest reach you can get, and you're going to circle the direction your thumbs are pointing. So just circle, 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 circle. Yeah. So you're getting all this motion all the way up in here. If you did not have this golfer's grip, you would be feeling it more in your forearm. And go ahead and let go of the golfer's grip and give it a try. See what you think. We want to encourage that whole rotator cuff to coordinate itself and all those four muscles to work together. So let's flip our palms up. If you need to take it down for a little break. This time we're getting our golfer's grip. Our palms are open wide and we're opening it out. We're shooting our thumbs behind us. So that's the direction our hands are going to go. And we're going to circle back, circle back. So feel those shoulder blades moving on your back body. Really circle back. Reach the arms as far apart as you can. Reach them, reach them, reach them, reach them, and take it in. All right, we did it. I hope you feel like you've had a massage. We've got these joints all nice and loose and mobile. Now you can go out and finish your Christmas shopping. Thanks, everybody. Merry Christmas, Aisha.